Hey traders, welcome back to another video. So the other day when I talk about I don't really like the way prop firm operates. I don't think it's beginner friendly. I don't think it's suitable, in fact, for majority of the trader, and I do get a lot of feedback on them. So this video, let's talk a little bit on what would I do differently if I were to reset and go back to square one. Don't get me wrong, by saying reset, it doesn't mean I go completely broke. But if you were to ask me, if I were to go back to day one of trading, what would I have done differently? If you don't know me, I'm Neil. I've been full-time trader for about 4 or 5 years, and I've been trading forex market for about 6 years plus. Throughout my entire career, throughout my entire full-time trading journey, I went broke actually twice, both times because I failed in business. In fact, I overly invested in things that I didn't know. I was overconfident. I was in fact being a little bit arrogant, and I in fact lost everything, and I had to climb back from zero back to where I am right now. So I'm a father. I got 2 kids. I have a beautiful wife. So yeah, go back to the title, the topic of the video. So when I first started trading, all of you have to understand, right now is a complete different generation. I would say 6 years ago, there's not much, there wasn't much education on YouTube on forex. There was a little bit, but it's not so advanced. Right now, I'll say for the past 2 to 3 years, that's when you start seeing a lot of gurus start popping up, and a lot of them are using prop firms to attract people to join their courses or whatever, for whatever intention they have. They are actually using prop firms as a thumbnail, as a hook to attract people in. And I can frankly tell you, even for myself, I used to trade prop firms a lot. Complete transparency, I used to trade them a lot. I used to rely on them quite a lot as well. But I was quick to realize prop firms are not the key to your trading success. When I say I don't recommend traders using prop firm, I do get a lot of negative feedback. Traders like to say, oh, it's a good way to leverage your trading, to get more money, whatever. That's only when you make money from prop firms and you actually get payout. And in fact, a lot of prop firms out there, they don't actually pay you out. It's more of a bubble rather than a real prop firm. And some of the big names, obviously, they are more reputable. One of them could be FTMO. Another one of them could be the 5%ers. Not sure. To be frankly, it's been a while since I trade any prop firm. That's why I don't want to say anything too soon, because it could be misleading for some of the people who watch my channel, if they are looking to trade any prop firms. That's why you will never see me trying to recommend any prop firms on my channel, because it's a little bit risky and it's not so responsible. So back then I started, there's not much education, frankly, and there's not much resources that I had to start from zero. So when I speak to traders, they tend to push the blame. They tend to victimize themselves and say, hey, of course you can talk about all these things, you already got 6-7 figures right now. I started from zero as well. So don't push the blame and don't try to victimize yourself. It doesn't make you look good. In fact, it makes you a weak individual. It makes you weak. I started from zero. I had to work in Australia. Back then I was a student. I'm 25 years old right now. For some of you may not know, 6 years ago I was 19 years old. I was in college. I studied in Australia. I had to literally work different part-time jobs from morning, trying to get as much OTs as possible, as many OTs, trying to snatch different shifts to make sure I work in the morning, utilize all my time, all my excess time, then work until midnight, and I study trading, wake up in the morning, do a bit of trading, do a bit of work, go to work, go to school, the cycle repeats. So I had to go through all these things to get to where I am right now. So don't try to say things like, oh, you are 6-7 figures. Of course you can say it's easy. don't push the blame, right? We all started from somewhere else. So back then, one thing that I did very wrongly was my personality was way too aggressive. So I had to really get myself burnt so many times to really realize, hey, risk management is important. I came from zero. I'm a self-made, which means I have no mentor, I have no real education. I had to literally crack the code myself. I have to look at the chart, test out different patterns, do my own back testing without knowing how to do a back test. I have to do everything myself. That's how I've been through for the past 6 years. And if I were to reset the time, I would really go find a good mentor. Because at the beginning of my phase, let's say I was a student abroad studying Australia, I had to work so hard to have that $10,000 saved, 10,000 Aussie dollar. And when I first started trading, I blew up my $10,000 or $12,000 savings in a relatively short amount of time. If I'm not wrong, within 1 or 2 months, I blew up all of my money. So it was a painful lesson. And that's why nowadays when I see a lot of traders, they say, oh, your mentorship is expensive, your community is expensive. Ask yourself, how much have you wasted? How much have you blew up in the financial market? As compared to education fees, it's tiny. But of course, you have to look for real education, right? There's a lot of not so ethical platforms. They are just selling you something for the sake of making money. Again, I'm not here pointing any names. A lot of good education out there as well. You just have to be more cautious on who you're learning from. Back then, I don't have anyone to look up to. I have to start from zero. And if you ask me what to reset, as I say, I would really spend a lot of money. I don't even care if I spend 5k, 8k, 10k to find a real mentor, because I know if I follow the right person, it would have shortened it would have fast-paced my learning curve by that much. The results could be exponential. Second thing I would have done differently was don't overly rely on prop firms. I did not. I'm in a very fortunate situation to say when I first started trading, there's no such thing as prop firm. FTMO appeared quite some time ago, but I only found out FTMO on my late second or third year of my trading. And when I go into FTMO, I was already consistently profitable, so it was relatively easy for me to extract profits from the prop firm. I remember when I go into FTMO, I passed it on my first challenge, first evaluation. Back then, they only had $100,000 account. There's no such thing as 200k. It was fairly quick for me to make some money from FTMO because I was already consistent, so it wasn't difficult. But one thing, I'm always being transparent, even with my community members. I told them, after I started trading FTMO, I realized there's a major shift on my mindset, because within 2 years plus of trading personal capital, I was able to turn $3,000 or 3,000 Aussie dollars into 6 figures, into $120,000 each, something like that. I was able to do that. Obviously, risk management wise, it's a little bit more aggressive. Risk exposure a little bit higher. Otherwise, that is impossible for you to turn $3,000 into 6 figures within 1 year, something like that. So after I was exposed to FTMO, I became so heavily relying on prop firm, and I forgot to grow my personal capital. Again, some of you could sit here from a hindsight and say, hey, why don't you grow your personal capital? I have a decent amount of personal capital right now. All of these are sort of rewind back to my past. It was only until my 4th year and I go really heavy back on growing my personal account. So there's like a 1 year plus gap where I really just neglected to compound my personal account, my personal wealth. And that period was interestingly, I still make decent income from prop firms. It was FTMO at first, then my Forex fund, then True Forex fund, TFF, MFF, both of them shut down. But yeah, one thing that I don't really encourage new traders to trade prop firms is you really have a strong detach of what your real situation is versus you are just so fixated on the six figures account. I've seen a lot of new traders, they come into the market and say, hey, I'm 2 years, I'm 1 year into the market, I'm 3 months into the market, I'm looking to become one of the funded trader and trade six figures. By managing six figures account, it doesn't make you a six figures trader. And that's how a lot of online gurus like to trick you into buying their courses, is to use thumbnails like how I become a seven figures trader, seven figures funded trader. In actual, they are just trading demo account. In actual, they don't even have the capability to grow their own personal account from 0 to 7 figures. They are just using the thumbnail, the title of prop firms account, and make themselves looks like they are really a multi-millionaire or something like that. So you have to be very careful when any coach or any YouTubers, any influencers, or even any mentor that claim themselves and say, hey, I'm a seven figures trader. In actual, just ask them, are you trading prop firms or personal account? That's the easy question. So back to the story. Sorry, I it's a little bit casual. Sorry, I talked about 2 points. First point was I would really find a proper education. Second point was I would less rely on prop firms. Again, I very quickly became one of the top FTMO and one of the top my forex fund trader in the past. In my forex fund, as I say, I've extracted over 250k or 300k profits, so it was a significant amount. Don't get me wrong, FTMO is a lot as well. I forgot the figure, I don't really keep track of them, but it was after a while I realized, hey, if I continue trading these prop firms account, I lost the sense of I'm not there yet. Because when you're trading prop firms, right, as fast as money comes, as fast as money goes. I've seen a lot of traders, they make a few payouts, but what they're doing is essentially they have zero risk management. They just keep taking trading so easily. They buy challenge, blow or not, they don't really care. Lose 10%, retake challenge, lose 10%, retake challenge. Their goal is only, how can I get the payout? But you forgot how much have you spent on the challenge in relative to your profits, your payouts. And the second thing is, do you think the way you approach the market like that is really sustainable in the long run? What if someday prop firms are not there anymore? Do you think there's such thing as 10% reset, buy a new challenge? No. The way you grow your personal account, your real personal wealth, is through the power of consistency, effective risk management, and a proper planning process. When you're trading a personal account, it's very different, because your mindset is how can I slowly and steadily grow it. Rather, trading prop firms, traders are just not taking it seriously, not even professional. There's zero professionalism on traders who are approaching these prop firms account. I'm not saying all of the funded trader, but I'll say 95% of funded traders, they are not having a healthy mindset. All they're thinking is, how can I get the payout? How can I get the payout? But that's no, the missing piece is, the missing puzzle is, there's no consistency. If you keep buying challenges, you blow, you don't care. When there's no more prop firms, when you're back to only trading your own personal money, maybe you don't even have the amount. Some traders, they are in a fallacy of, I'm trading 200k. They think they are really worth 200k. You're not. You're not worth 200k. Alright, that 200k, in fact, you only have 10% drawdown allowance. You're only managing a 20k account. You only have access to $20,000, not 200,000. So don't fall into the imagination, the fallacy of, it's so beautiful to have a $200,000 account. You only have access to what you're allowed to risk. While you're trading personal account, someone who's managing a 20k account versus someone who's managing a 200k account, they are the same thing. Why? Because in personal account, that 20k is all yours. On prop firms, that 200k, only 20k drawdowns allowed, and you have no ability to withdraw anytime that you want. And whether if your payouts gets paid to your bank account is up to the prop firms as well. You're essentially leaving your fate. You have zero control over the account. Yes, you can say if I have consistency, I can get payouts. Only if you get payouts. I get a lot of traders trying to debate this and say, oh, prop firms are good. That's because you're into prop firms. When you are into something, nothing else, none of the advice given to you will make sense as long as they're against prop firms. All right, you say you're good. Show me how many payouts have you gotten. Don't tell me you got a 2K payouts, 5K payouts. Then you start saying you are a really good trader. I'm someone who have gotten 6 figures, multiple hundred thousands from prop firms, and yet I'm sitting here to tell you prop firms is not for everyone. It's only for the one that are really consistent, who prove themselves to be the top 1%. Then you go trade prop firms. All right. The third thing I would have done it differently is I'll probably say it is really important to have to know different traders. Back then I really thought, oh, if as a trader I just want to trade by myself, enjoy by myself, I want to be alone. But in real fact, it could be really depressing. I can't highlight this enough. Being a trader is a very high pressure, is a very stressful, you're constantly being put in a very stressful environment. And you don't have people who share the same vision, people who share the same purpose, the same goals, to discuss things with you, to explore different things with you. The journey can be so lonely. And of course, I'm fortunate to say I have a wife, I have kids. But again, you still need like-minded people to be together, to talk together, in order to really have more motivation and more inspiration to continue pushing further. And that's why I started my community. Okay, I don't want to go too deep into that, but one of the main reasons why I started my trade club, the 1%ers trade club, my community, is to make sure I gather the serious people. And that's why we have a very strict selective process, and why not everyone can join us. Not like any other community, as long as you pay you can join. I actually have removed traders before, refund them before, or even reject traders to join before. Why? Because if their vision doesn't align with mine, there's no point leaving them inside the community. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you really enjoyed. So these are 3 things that I really would have done differently if I were to reset back to 0. And if you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below what would you like me to talk next, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.